Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel. So we've got this signal prop up for the investigation of the EVM functionality, and I think this is more or less something that definitely would kill the chain. It would take a very in-depth video to go into the explanations, but in short, right, when you want to do anything to do with Ethereum, the likelihood is you're going to need to wrap those assets just to comply with other stuff. It's not, we're the Cosmos, right? We're not Ethereum. We shouldn't try to port out or port something like that in. It's very substantial. Now, from what I can tell, is this is actually reliant, firstly, on the approval of a signaling proposal, but it's also all based on the paid per job and governance rule job list. And this is why I'm doing this video, because I think we've got really off track here, because from what I'm aware, the backlash on the paid per job and governance rule job list from the bad characters and from people that were just more or less aping into what these bad people were saying about how KYC is bad, it's centralization, the usual stuff, nothing's changed, right? But with this all being said, we're way off track here. And the reason why I know we're way off track is because what we need right now is right in front of us. It's being developed by Luna, and we're being embraced by Luna. We've got support moving forward that we needed, and we've been offered the opportunity to have all of this technology. Chris has stated this outright a few times. So let's go over to this Cosmos verse 23. I'm just going to play a little bit of this for you folks and get you up to scratch if you don't know about the whole enterprise system and what we should really be aiming for, not Ethereum stuff. It's a good idea. It's just not for this chain. And I know there's other people that agree with me who are developers that would also say, yeah, this would kill the chain. It's just, we don't have the resources, the time, the money, the people, and even the system to implement the development of such substantial needs like that. So let's listen to this.
Enterprise. Really excited about Enterprise. Some of you might have heard of Enterprise DAO. That was just a tip of the spear of what we want to do with the Enterprise brand. Enterprise is ultimately a brand about how you can do business in Web3. We started with Enterprise DAO, and we're rolling out now Enterprise Hub, which is a Web 2.5 wrapper around a number of different tools that help you build applications and run your business in crypto. And hopefully.
So in short, that is literally what enterprise is at face value. Now, what you've got here is labor market. If you're wondering what labor market is, if you know what the pay per job system is, labor market's a far more advanced version of what the pay per job system would be. The only difference is with this, the KYC would already be there. The trust would already be there with people that work for TFL because they own Luna, they own TFL. They're responsible for that chain. They don't need to sort of go through the same things we need to go through when introducing such a system where there's trust on both sides, right? This packages in a lot of different stuff, the treasury, the payments, the DAO system. These are tools that we can make use of right now, and the interoperability is already there, and we don't need to worry about the future development. We don't need to worry about the bugs and the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights. There will be no coconuts in this sense. We will just have a system that is usable. And anybody who's anybody in the Cosmos verse would always say to anybody else that's worth their salt, don't develop tools that have already been created by other people in the Cosmos. Go and get those, port those over through IBCs if you need to. Now, with all of this is why I think the focus has been lost, because this is a sure shot to glory for us. Luna are doing it. We should do it. It's being offered up for us. We can get endpoints through the hub, through the enterprise system. And these endpoints would be part of the alliance agreement, so to speak. And there would be certain things factored into it. And with alliances, the way I like to look at the alliance system and what it's going to be is like how countries get together and they agree trade embargoes, deals, all of the ins and outs is agreed. And then they go into these trade deals. And that's kind of what alliance is about utilizing what else is out there. And the road ahead is something that our developers would understand, and people that are on this blockchain developing would understand. And like I said, this is being presented to us. We don't need to build it. We don't need to chase it. And the reason why this is so important and something that actually lends a lot of credence to this situation is labor market and the dependence of this whole venture of EVM functionality is reliant on a system which is not being widely accepted. Even validators are, even though they don't do anything on this blockchain, they don't develop anything, they just talk, or they don't talk and they develop on Luna, are all saying KYC is really bad and it shouldn't be introduced and the pay-per-job system's far too centralized. But then I look at what's being built over on Luna, and that's exactly what's being built. So they're actually arguing against something which is a more simplified version of labor market. So what you'll actually find is, the likelihood is a lot of the validators that are Luna-based validators probably don't want to see this pay-per-job system built. They want to see us go over and use enterprise and all of these different things. And as much as you sit there and think to yourselves, no, of course not, these things wouldn't happen. There's a very good book that I've read recently, and the basic thesis of it is pushing you an inch, but pushing you right to the edge of that inch and then easing back, waiting a little bit, and then pushing you again, pushing you really far another inch, right past it, and then easing back. And then step by step, you're all of a sudden you say, well, how did we get here? And it all brews down to these things. And this is why it scares me of where the support goes these days and the heading of this blockchain. If we was to just suddenly go, oh, well, let's start focusing on Ethereum-based stuff. No, let's not do that. Let's utilize the tools that are being created and generated for our systems, right? We're part of the Cosmos interchain system, and it's huge. You've got Axelar, which gives us access to USDC. There's been so many issues with wanting a stable coin and, oh, we've got to do this to get a stable coin. No, we can go and get it through Axelar. There's all of these different routes, right? But once again, you do not have the systems in place, such as labor market or pay per job, to be able to get work like this done. So it's actually really funny to see who's put this proposal up, and the people that are actually against the pay per job to suddenly now think to themselves, oh, well, actually, this could actually work for me and I could get this done through the pay per job. And honestly, you could, if you had the pay per job system and you had all of these different developers working and just taking jobs off the bat. But even then, even when you've got the pay per job system, there's so much work that goes into preparing the work for others to come in and do, right? You've got to set the tasks. You've got to make sure you cross the T's and dot the I's. The circumstances, the expectations, and everything like that, because otherwise all that's going to happen is the likelihood is we'll fall back into what we were victim to for nearly 2 years, which was paying 3 months of work up front and just hoping for the best and seeing absolutely nothing for 2 months, 2 weeks, to suddenly see it all picking up in the final 2 weeks when they needed a paycheck again. So for me, I'm never ever going to be sold on that route of working. It's a very, very caveman styled way of working, very, very poor, very rudimentary and very basic, so to speak, as if we're heading back into the dial-up days of internet, when we've got all of these amazing tools in the Cosmos, we've got all of these amazing opportunities in the Cosmos, and it just really, really helps if we go out and we utilize what has been built. So with all of this being said, am I dunking on this proposal? Absolutely not. No idea is a bad. Every idea has credence. It's got a place, and sometimes it just doesn't belong where some people think it belongs. Everybody's going to have a different opinion on this. I think it's going to be a tight vote for people that don't really understand how much work goes into just trying to be part of this whole Ethereum-based system when we've got the Cosmos. We have our own style. We have our own way of coding, and it's a very unique place, but it's very big. Okay, and we're DeFi. We're specifically in it. There's so many ups and downs that come into this, and like I said, you can argue this from both sides realistically of this, but for me, where I think this chain should be heading is towards what Chris Amani is offering to everybody in the Cosmos, and that's to be part of this one bigger unique system that gives you access to a DAO. It gives you access to a treasury system and a payment system and a labor market and all of these tools we actually need to start fishing up work and getting people to come and develop on chain. Because if you look at Solana and look at all of the meme coins that are launching over there, right? They're launching over there because they have the tools which makes it easy for them to launch. If they haven't got the development skills, there's tools in place to allow them to learn those development skills, or they can find people with those development skills. everybody knows what Fiverr is, right? And labor market is like taking Fiverr, juicing it up with DeFi based blood, and then sticking it into our environment. It's at that point, right? You don't need to worry about where you're going to get the developers from. We can simply say to people, look, you've got an idea, cool. Propose, put it up on the labor market, and you'll be able to find developers. If your idea is interesting, you're offering the right money for it, you've set everything out, there's potential there for so much more, because what you'll find is the majority of people that have really good ideas of to build something and where to go with it and the end goal of it, a lot of the times they don't have the development skills to do all of it, and you're going to need more bodies and more experiences, more minds and more knowledge to be able to get your idea from just this little thing on a piece of paper to a proof of concept to a working product. And this is all going to be part of labor market also introducing in a way for you to spin up a DAO, right? Okay, you've got a project, you don't want to spin up a validator, spin up a DAO instead, tie in a treasury to it, which is linked into the DAO, activate a payment system to pay the people who are part of your DAO, and use the labor market to go out and find more developers to develop your ideas. And this becomes a very limitless technology that is going to be very misunderstood. It's probably not going to be shipped very well amongst all of the crazy stuff that's going on with Duquan at the moment. I've got a video dropping on that. I'm just sort of thinking about when to drop it. I don't really want to dunk, but it's one of those situations where if we ignore it, it's probably just going to creep up on us. So we should probably pay attention to it and where it's going to lead, where he's going to get extradited to. And, you know, he could turn into some kind of like confidential informant that basically rats out the whole system and just to get time off. So it's a very precarious situation that's playing out. But the important thing is Chris Armani is the new CEO, so it's not something he can be charged for. He's just taking a flagship product and pushing forward with it. And I think this is why they've abandoned the idea of ever reintroducing any kind of stable coin ever again to the lunar environment, so to speak. And he states this in this Cosmos verse live stream. I'll leave a link to this in the description. I think it should come up on the 5-hour 50-minute timestamp. If not, that is the timestamp. Just skip to it, watch it, listen to what he has to say. It's so important, even though it's lunar, right? And even with everything I said, all we can do right now is best position ourselves for this bull run that's coming. There's less than 100 days until halving. ETF trading, I think, goes live at 9 o'clock till like 4 p.m. So we just don't know what's ahead, and it all just could happen very quickly. And when we look at the market and we see meme coins like Bonk, for example, outperforming Lunar Classic, we know that we need some kind of headway, right? Some kind of road that we can all get on. And I thought this was something that everyone could kind of just go, do you know what? It's out of our control, but it's something we can control, we can utilize, and we can all get on this one road instead of having 30% of the community going, well, we should port out to Ethereum, and then 20% of you saying we shouldn't do anything, and then another 40% of people saying, well, we should follow this sort of enterprise idea. And then you've got a small pool of developers that just think, I just want to work, I just want money, I'm just here for the technology. So that leaves us with so many different factions thinking about so many different things. If we could all just get behind one unified idea of moving forward together, and even if we're all bickering over the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs of just enterprise and moving forward with that, it would probably give the external media, and this is so important, hear me out here and stay with me on this, is giving the external media something to latch onto, an idea, a story for them to follow, and something that's very easy for them. It's all about shipping things in a way that you're trying to introduce more holders, because that's what we want. At the end of all of this, we want more holders, we want more believers, we want people staking their coins, and we want them using the tools. We want people to do more than just stake. We want people to spin up validators. We want people to do all of these different things. And when we make decisions to reverse the active set down to 100, just to benefit the top people and to make a few more people rich, you also shut down the opportunity for so many new people to come and get involved with this blockchain. And as much as people sit there and argue and say, well, you know, the active set wasn't filling up and stuff like that, okay, but that doesn't give us an excuse to squash it down. Our mission with that should have been, how do we fill those slots up? How do we get this 130 active set to become an active set? Instead, we cut the corners, we looked for the easy approach. It was very greed based, and it hasn't favored this blockchain well. And as we move forward into this bull run, as we move forward into all of this good news, we also need something to latch onto. The media needs something to latch onto. The developers need something to latch onto. And more importantly, we need to become more part of this cosmos and trying to get liquidity pools set up and interconnect with all of these other chains, because the IBC hooks, they're ready. There's all of these different things that we can do, and we can have access to all of these really, really cool tools. So yeah, longer video this morning for you folks. Just trying to get back into the swing of things. Got a really sore throat doing a lot of talking at work also. But with all of this being said, right, go and listen to this Cosmos first pitch. Listen to what Chris has got to say and make up your own mind it. But more importantly, let me know what you think. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know what's going on. And if there's anything I'm missing, maybe let me know. But folks, that's all I've got for you this morning. Look, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.